Hi, and welcome to Social Work 503 Interpersonal Processes here at Widener University. My name is Dr. Eileen McCabe-Moucher, and I am your professor this term. Welcome to our class and welcome to the program. I've created this short video to help orient you to our online course here in the Engage platform. So here we are inside our Engage platform here in our Social Work 503 Interpersonal Processes. And the first thing that I want you to know is that your success in this class is very important to me. So if at any point you feel like you're struggling with the content of the course, please don't hesitate to reach out to me with your questions. If you're having trouble with the technical aspects of the course, please make sure that you're reaching out to tech support. They're there to help you if you're having access with any particular modules, if you're having trouble uploading an assignment, if you're not able to see my feedback, please make sure that you're reaching out with tech support with those type of requests. But also please send me an email and let me know that you're having technical trouble so that I can advocate on your behalf with tech support if needed. Tech support is typically awesome and very responsive to student needs. So again, don't hesitate to reach out if you need support, if you need help, or if you have questions. The other thing that I wanted to make sure that I'm reviewing with you is that you know that this classroom is online, but you need to really block off and devote as much time as you would to this class as you would in any class that you may have taken in a brick and mortar building. So what do I mean by that? You want to make sure that you block off or schedule anywhere between 3 to 6 hours each week where you are devoting your time and your energy and your attention to this course. So that's doing the readings, that includes working in groups as well as with your dyad partner. So this particular course does require a lot of personal interaction with other students using the Zoom platform. So everyone will be assigned a partner as well as a small group. So there's lots of interaction. You want to make sure that you're building out time for that. You also want to make sure that you have plenty of time to actually write and do the assignments. This particular course is very writing heavy. APA style is a very important part of learning here at Widener's MSW program. And you'll notice that I will be giving you lots of feedback on your papers, paying attention to APA style. I'm not doing this because I'm picky or I want to be punitive in any way. I'm doing this because many times students later on in the program may have gotten all A's and they may start receiving grades like C's because of APA infractions. So I like to point out to you issues that you're having with APA style right away so you can make sure that you're correcting those issues and visiting the writing center, getting that writing support outside of class that you need. Also, I wanted to let you know that the library here at Widener is a fantastic resource, and you're able to text and chat with a librarian or talk to a librarian on the phone if you're having difficulty doing any type of research. So this will become increasingly important as you advance in the program and take other classes. So I encourage you to reach out and connect with a librarian at some point over this course. Because again, it can be a really tremendous way to help you learn how to use the library, which is a really important aspect here of graduate level education. So as I was saying earlier, it's really important. Most people that take this class are very successful in the class, and I think one of the secrets to success is actually blocking off or devoting time on your calendar each week specifically for this course. So as I said earlier, that's typically between anywhere from 3 to 6 hours a week. It may be up to 10 hours a week, depending on your reading speed, your level of dedication, your level of interest in the program. program. It's different for every student. So perhaps that is going to mean that you're going to sign into this course every single day, maybe spending anywhere from 10 minutes to an hour looking at the coursework, doing the readings, connecting with other students, responding to the discussion boards, writing the assignments. Or maybe you're someone that, your personal schedule just really is going to allow you to really spend 2 days a week. So maybe, let's say, for example, you'd want to choose maybe a Tuesday and a Friday, or perhaps a Saturday, and you're spending 2 hours, 2 days a week strictly on coursework. Or maybe you're somebody that just does better doing everything in one extended session. So perhaps that may be you spending Wednesday, maybe blocking off a total of 3 to 6 hours every Wednesday, or whatever day works best with your personal schedule. But you want to make sure that you're actually treating this class as you would a class that you're taking in a brick and mortar classroom, making sure you're scheduling time to actually sit in a chair, or if you have a standing desk, stand up in front of your computer so you can get the work done. That is my biggest secret for success in online learning, is blocking out the time and then sticking to the schedule. I have a lot of respect for you all. I know that many of you are juggling family responsibilities. Many of you are working full-time or part-time as you're taking the course. You're also volunteering and active in your communities in really important ways. So I know that you're juggling a lot, but it is important that you make this particular course a priority because it is busy. There's a lot of work involved. Another thing that I want to stress is that these concepts that we're learning here, social work practice, is truly a lifetime practice. And a lot of these skills that we're going to begin to go over in this course take a lifetime to truly master. So I know this class moves quickly. It's only 7 weeks in duration. So I don't want to see you put pressure on yourself that you have to master everything here in 7 weeks. Social work is a fantastic profession because it's one of these professions that social workers grow more valuable with age, or with time and wisdom. So you will have a lifetime to integrate these practices. Later on, you'll be able to practice a lot of the concepts that we're learning in your internship, in your practicum setting. So be easy and gentle on yourself when it comes to learning this. Don't feel as if you have to know and incorporate and put everything into practice immediately within these next 7 weeks. We also have a lot of diversity in the room. So, respecting one another, really respecting that diversity and where everyone is coming from. So I know that there are several of you that have been in the social work field at the bachelor's level, been in a human service position for maybe a couple of decades and are now returning to graduate school. We have some people in the classroom that have just newly graduated from a bachelor's program. We have others that maybe have been working in another field and have made really laudable and important contributions in other fields and are making a career switch. So everyone has wisdom and knowledge that we can learn from here. So sometimes students will, especially those that are just coming out of a bachelor's program or maybe are making a midlife career change, might say, oh my goodness, Eileen, I feel like I'm behind, right? Everybody else in this class seems to have a lot of social work experience, and that's not the case at all. We're all in this together. Everyone is at a master's level, graduate school level entry point here, and everyone deserves respect here in the online classroom. So that's really important. So again, if you have questions or concerns about the class content, about the assignments, please don't hesitate to reach out to me via email. I check and return my emails every 24 to 48 hours. I do check my email at least once on the weekend, but I strongly encourage you that if you have a question about an assignment that is due on Sunday, that you email me about that assignment by Thursday or Friday. Sometimes what will happen is that students will be sending me an email at 10 o'clock on a Sunday evening about an assignment that is due at 11:59 p.m. on a Sunday evening, and I will not receive that email until Monday morning. So if you have a question about an assignment, I encourage you to reach out to me early in the week so I can be sure to give you the help that you need, and you're going to be able to have the time to be able to incorporate those suggestions that I give you into your work. So what you want to do is you want to make sure that you carefully read all of the items here under Getting Started. So you want to read everything about starting the course. You want to make sure that you carefully read all of the syllabus and the class expectations. You want to make sure that you look at our course schedule. I'm going to open that up so we can look at this together. This is a wonderful resource here where it has all of the readings spelled out week by week, and it tells you exactly what you need to be doing each week. Now, I did not design or create this particular course. I think it's beautifully constructed, beautifully created, but I also think that that's something that's important for you to know, that this particular course was created and then it's constantly being edited by a group of faculty, so you can really have the best experience with it. And we'll definitely ask you for your feedback at the end of the course. But this course, in order to meet the Council on Social Work Education standards, this particular course right now, for example, there's six sections that are running, and all of these 6 sessions, even though they're taught by different professors, it has the exact same course content. So I'm not able to alter or deviate from any assignments or course content because it has to be the same and consistent across all of the sections. So when is the work due? It's a really good question, something that's really important to know. So initial discussion posts are due on Thursday of the assigned week by 11:59 p.m. That's in Eastern Standard Time. Your response posts to your classmates are due on Sunday of the assigned week by 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And all other assignments are due on Sunday of the assigned week at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Note there is one exception to this, and that is the small group presentation on conflict resolution, which is due on Thursday of week 7 by 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So again, as you can see here, all of the deadlines are in Eastern Standard Time, and students who live outside of the time zone are still expected to submit assignments by the Eastern Standard Time deadlines. And then we have the plagiarism information here, which I strongly encourage you to read on your own. Just one thing that I wanted to remind you is that it is considered self-plagiarism if you submit something that you have written for another course at another college, or even if you have taken this course previously. So please do not submit anything that you have written previously to this course. Our plagiarism detection software actually does pick that up. And if you have any questions about that, please don't hesitate to reach out to me through email. Again, I want you to be successful. I'm not here to penalize you in any way. I just want to make sure that the expectations are really clear, especially with all these plagiarism detection software that we have. So now moving on to the communication and conversation section here, you'll see an announcement. Now I make announcements once every week. I put out a video, usually by Mondays. I'll put out a video on Sunday or either Monday, going over the highlights of the week. I explain in detail those process notes that are due in this class Sundays on weeks 1, 3, 5, and 7. So I give you a lot of really detailed information about exactly what I'm looking for, exactly what you need to know for those process notes, and I'll review the highlights. So you definitely want to make sure that you're paying attention to those announcements. The next item here is the Ask the Instructor forum. So this particular forum is if you have a question that you think everybody could benefit from if they know the answer. Now, I strongly encourage you to reach out to me directly and privately via email. I do get your emails much more rapidly that way. I check this Ask the Instructor forum daily. I have notifications set up for it, but you will likely get a much more rapid response if you email me directly as opposed to posting here. You're certainly welcome to do so, but I prefer if you email me, just because I've found that sometimes students will be asking questions about personal grades, personal situations, and those kinds of things. And in that case, I'm just going to tell you to please email me directly and personally so we can follow up that way. We also have the Student Lounge here, which is a great place for all of you to get connected with each other. Again, I encourage you to really get to know other people that are here. They're going to be your colleagues, potentially your support system, even though you may be located in different areas across the globe. It's still great to connect and get to know your colleagues, develop that deeper connection. I also encourage you to check out the MSW Student Resource Center. It has great information and resources available for you. So now we're going to switch gears just a little bit and go over the major projects and assignments. So you want to make sure that you refer back to this video as we go on in the semester. So again, I'm going to be sending out a video each week, and it's going to be hitting the highlights in terms of what we're studying that week, focusing specifically on the process notes that you're going to be writing. But in terms of the major assignments, you probably will want to return to this video because this is where I'm going to be going over the highlights. So discussion forum is something that we're doing this every week. So each week you're going to be asked to post in the discussion forum on questions around the week's topic. So many times you're going to be asked to reflect on the readings, the videos, or other activities. So in addition to responding to the initial prompt, you will also need to respond to 1 to 2 of your peers' posts in the forum. So this is really an opportunity for you to think critically about the course material and to also interact with your classmates. At the graduate level, students are expected to reference course materials as well as any outside materials in discussions. You're also expected here at Widener to use headings to separate answers to discussion questions. So please make sure that you're separating things, keeping things well organized, that you're also using APA style and in-text citations. It's really important that you're giving credit to other authors that you may have utilized and demonstrating that you know how to use APA style in the discussion board forums. And like it says here, it's important that you're aware that I'm able to view all student activity in each course. So I'm able to see from the Engage platform whether or not a student has watched a video or read other students' discussion forum posts. So again, all initial discussion posts are due by Thursday of the assigned week by 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and those check-ins and response posts are due by Sunday at 11:59 p.m. unless otherwise specified. So general ground rules, a sufficient post would be a minimum of 200 words and a maximum of 500 words. So the main discussion forum guidelines is really encourage you to be thoughtful about what your posts. Your insights and experiences will make this process rich. So when you think about disclosing or talking about personal or professional experiences, I really want you to think about the disclosure. By asking yourself a question, what is the goal of this disclosure? And how is it going to add to the discussion and experience in our classroom? Remember to really care for yourself as well as your own confidentiality when posting to the group. It's important to be professional and courteous in your responses. You remember this is a classroom, it's not social media, and it goes without saying. Usually all students are very professional, courteous, and respectful to each other. but we are all coming from different experiences, and we want to make sure that we're treating everybody's thoughts with kindness and respect. So that begins with using I statements, really avoiding telling people what they should do, and just offering ideas just as ideas. So you're knowing that your insights might be helpful, but the way that you offer them to others makes a big difference in how helpful they become. I also want you to be open to both giving and receiving and incorporating feedback, or letting it go if it doesn't work for you. But I really want you to focus on being professional and respectful and generous, especially when it comes to your ideas and your positive outlook on what your colleague is saying. So as you can see here, there is a discussion board rubric. So you want to make sure that your response and your follow-up responses are in line, meeting all of the requirements here for this discussion rubric. So now let's take some time and go over the process notes, which are due on Sundays in weeks 1, 3, 5, and 7 of the course. These are worth a total of 30% of your final grade. You want to make sure that you're taking time to watch this awesome video that Dr. Barrel put together that explains the process notes in depth. So it's important that you know that these process notes are confidential, they're a self-reflection, and they're shared only with me as your faculty member. So everyone really decides independently how much personal information that you want to disclose or write about in the writing process. So the deeper the insight that is reflected, the deeper the learning that's going to take place. And this process note writing is really a great preparation for writing client case notes and for collecting evidence in support of one's practice. So clinicians are expected to keep good case notes. However, they rarely have an abundance of time to complete notes. So this assignment encourages the student to practice clear, concise, and complete reflections on what was relevant and vital during a session in a limited amount of time. So in weeks 1, 3, 5, and 7, students will be given specific prompts to use as you complete the process notes. So the prompts will pertain to dyad conversations, if you had one that week, as well as small group content and process, large group content and process, and reflections on the assigned readings. So the large group consists of our class as a whole, and large group content and process will consist of each week's class discussion forums as well as videos. So you want to make sure that you're following each of the prompts in the respective week's process notes directions. So students are expected to respond fully to each question or prompt. So you're expected to answer each prompt in full narrative sentences. So please note that writing clarity and quality will be graded in these process notes. And when completing the final prompt for each process note, the reading reflection, you want to make sure that you're using APA annotated bibliography format. So this resource right here provides an excellent overview of the differences between an annotated bibliography and a literature review. So for example here, this is how you would reference the following format. So what you would want to do is you'd want to begin with the article and then answer each part of the reading reflection prompt. So for this example, number 1, what was the article about? Number 2, what is the article's relevance to social work practice? Number 3, what is the article's meaning for you? So each of the 4 process notes in weeks 1, 3, 5, and 7 will have different rubrics based on the prompts in each of the given 4 weeks. So you want to make sure that you're carefully following the prompts as well as the rubric. There's also here a great video which tells you exactly how to format your process notes. So after you watch the video, if you have any questions, again, don't hesitate to reach out to me via email. I'm happy to provide some clarification for you. So now let's shift our attention and awareness to that emotional intelligence paper, which is due on Sunday of week 2. So this is a short paper. It's about 3 to 4 pages long, where you're going to be integrating information that you learned about emotional intelligence with your own assessment of your personal emotional intelligence. So you are asked to use at least 2 scholarly sources from the literature for this paper. So one of these 2 sources must be the Morris reading on emotional intelligence, and that is located in your week 2 readings underneath the week 2 forum. So using the Morris article to guide you heavily, and another scholarly article of your choice. So this second article should connect to social work as well as to emotional learning. So this second article could come from the syllabus, but it certainly doesn't have to. Again, this would be a great opportunity for you to connect with a librarian using the chat a librarian feature, text a librarian, call a librarian, and you can look up another article on emotional intelligence that way. So you really want to make sure that you're including a definition of emotional intelligence as well as its relevance to social work, and connect it to your own critique of emotional intelligence in the domains of relationships, tolerance, flexibility, self-management, and emotional awareness. So you want to define each of these domains, just assume as if I don't know them, and you're going to be really telling me about this for the first time. And I'd like you to connect the domains to social work practice and explain where you are in the development of these skills. So in order to receive full credit, all 5 of these domains must be discussed. So APA style must be used throughout the paper, and that includes setting up a title page, a running header, using page numbers, subheadings, in-text citations, and references. So you must review that APA formatting and style before writing the paper. Please note that papers that do not have APA formatting on headings will be returned ungraded. And again, the paper should be anywhere between 3 to 4 pages in length. So again, you want to make sure that you're carefully following the formatting here when you organize your paper. There's also this fantastic rubric here, so you're really clear in terms of how you're going to be graded on this particular assignment. So it's really setting you up for success here. You know exactly what's expected, so you can fulfill those requirements and do well on the paper. So now let's take some time and talk about your next steps in professional development paper, which is due on Sunday of week 6 in our class. This particular assignment is worth 20% of your final grade. And in this assignment, you're going to be writing about your educational, personal, and professional learning goals for the remainder of your time here in our MSW program. So everyone should be highlighting their areas of interest in the field of social work, your personal skills to be developed. You want to make sure that you're heavily referencing the NASW Code of Ethics, as well as the NASW standards for cultural competence in social work practice, as well as addressing your overall development as a social worker. So development as a social worker includes identifying areas for your future growth, describing areas of development that require self-reflection, proposing management of your personal values, describing management of bias, and identifying and self-correcting strategies. So students are asked here to develop a personal plan to meet their goals during the MSW program. So note that a plan would include identifying goals and strategies for completing these goals and for checking to see how you're doing toward achieving that goal. So this becomes a parallel process. You know, you're setting your own goals very much like you're going to be asking clients to set their own goals down the road. So this is a really important self-assessment. where you're really going to be explaining your goals professionally. So what you want to make sure that you're addressing is, what do you want to do while you're in this program? What skills do you want to develop? So if you are someone who came into this program because you'd like to practice psychotherapy in an individual or a family or couple setting, that would be important to explore, as well as the skills that you need to develop in order to do that. Or perhaps your goal is to practice macro-level social work and very interested and committed to social justice initiatives, policy, affecting policy at the federal or the state level. So you'd want to explore that, detailing exactly what you want to learn. What are your goals after the program? I'd like you to identify areas for future growth, educationally, personally, and professionally. You want to make sure that you're addressing how you will eliminate the influence of personal biases and values when you're working with diverse groups in the future. Propose a plan for the management of personal values in a way that helps guide your practice. You want to make sure that you're describing areas of development that need ongoing reflection and include a plan of action to meet your identified goals. So again, APA style must be used throughout the paper. So this includes setting up a title page or running header, page numbering. You want to make sure that you're using subheadings, in-text citations, as well as references. So you want to make sure that you're, again, reviewing that APA formatting. And again, papers that do not follow APA style will be returned ungraded. So this particular paper should be between 5 to 6 pages in length. So again, here it is all spelled out for you as I just went over, and then you have a rubric that you're following that really tells you how many points you're getting when you cover each section. So again, I recommend that you take some time and read over this. And if you have any questions about it, again, don't hesitate to reach out. Again, this particular assignment is due Sunday, week 6 here in our class. So now let's take some time and go over your small group presentation on conflict resolution, which is due on Thursday. Remember, it's due on Thursday, not on Sunday, on week 7, which is our final week together here in our journey in our Social Work 503 class. So you're remembering that you're going to be divided into small groups, and each of your group is going to present a conflict scenario to the class via a recorded video presentation. So this conflict scenario is one that you might actually face as social workers in your internship. Then what you're going to do is analyze the reason for the conflict and discuss 2 interventions or methods of leading or facilitating conflict resolution. So each group member must have a role in the video presentation. Really important notation here is this conflict scenario must be entirely made up by the group. So please, please, please do not use any real life conflict that you may have experienced in the past or experience currently. So there is no exceptions made for that. So examples of the conflicts that you might want to bring up that students have used in the past. Again, I don't want to, sort of give too many things away here, but I want to be able to help guide you and give you some ideas as well. So an example perhaps is maybe you could act as if that you were a social worker working in the field, and that one of your colleagues was grossly impaired by a substance abuse issue. So that may be a conflict, real life conflict that social workers could encounter in the field. You could also encounter a scenario where, again, another real life encounter where social workers might be bumping up against some discriminatory or oppressive practices in the macro system within a system. So that could certainly be something that you wanted to explore in depth. So the small group is going to be using a PowerPoint in your video presentation to present information about the chosen interventions or methods to the class. So any information from outside resources that goes into the PowerPoint must be cited using APA formatting. So again, that means that you need to include those in-text citations as well as a reference list. So another component of this assignment is an introduction. So students will briefly introduce the role play scenario and identified problem. This should be no more than 5 minutes. And then there's the role play. So the small group will present a role play illustrating each of the 2 chosen methods. So each small group is to record a video of the role play using the steps framed by whichever conflict resolution methodology they are working with. So for example, if the group is using nonviolent communication, they would show how each step is implemented from eye language to observations through making requests. So this role play should be approximately 20 minutes total, including both methods. So then comes that discussion component. So in addition to the recorded presentation, you're going to include a brief discussion, no more than 10 minutes, by the group as a whole on the following factors. So number 1, issues related to diversity and oppression. Number 2, what techniques were used in the role play. Number 3, how the techniques were used in the role play. And number 4, what stage the group reached by the end of the course and how they know this. So while the PowerPoint can be used as a reference, please don't read off the PowerPoint. I really want to watch you engage with each other in a group discussion. So small groups are used to use methods learned in the course. So each small group's total recorded presentation should be 35 to 40 minutes long. I'd love to see you be creative. Important notation here is that Zoom allows for students to meet for up to 40 minutes at a time. So this means that you're going to need to record your presentation in 2 separate parts. So one way to make it simple for you is that first part could be the introduction and the role play, and the second part could be the actual discussion. So you really want to make sure that you practice the timing of each part of your small group presentation. So again, an important part of this class, as I said earlier, is really engaging with your colleagues. So there's 2 formats you're going to do that. You're going to be talking with your dyad partner, and then for this assignment, you're going to be meeting, preferably weekly, with your small groups. So students are expected to use both the small group discussion and the regular teleconference meetings via Zoom to keep in touch with their small group members on the progress of this assignment each week. So you want to make sure that you're connecting with the members of your small group each week. And the groups are to submit at the end of each week, and that begins with week 2, a completed progress form. So a blank form can be found in each week's small group discussion forum. So this particular form is to be submitted in the group's small group discussion forum. So group members should really take turns doing this, and this progress form needs to include all of the following. Number 1, the date when your group met. Number 2, how long your group meeting lasted. Number 3, how your group met. Was it through Zoom or telephone? You want to document who met and who was absent. You also want to include a brief summary of each group member's contributions, as well as a brief summary of progress on the project and any challenges and issues that your group experienced. So additionally, each small group will complete a practice video recording using their scenario using Zoom in week 5. So this activity is meant to help familiarize students with the recording technology of Zoom and give the group an opportunity to get feedback from me regarding your role play project. So I'm going to be monitoring the group members' participation on the small group assignment weekly via those small group progress forms. So I'm going to be responding to comments on the small group discussion board forum at my discretion here. So this discussion forum is not the venue to communicate directly with the instructor. So if you're having problems with your group, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. And the best way to do that is just to reach out to me directly through email. Again, I want you to have a good experience in the course. And I know that sometimes when you're working with small groups, it can present challenges, but it can also present a lot of strengths and be a great way to learn as well. You want to make sure that you're carefully reviewing this rubric for all of the presentation, so you're meeting all of the grading expectations here. So let's spend a few moments here just going over how to use Zoom for small group meetings. I know that Zoom is maybe a brand new technology for some of you. It is fairly user-friendly. So each week you're going to be meeting with your fellow small group members using Zoom. So you want to make sure that you're downloading the Zoom participation guide as well as the Zoom instructions and watching this video, which walks you through step-by-step how to use Zoom. So you're also welcome to use Zoom with your dyad partner as well. So if you have trouble, and this is very important, if you have trouble with Zoom, you want to make sure that you're reaching out to Widener's ITS Help Desk at 610-499-1047 for assistance. So again, any trouble with Zoom, please make sure that you're reaching out to the IT desk. You also want to just send me just a very brief email to let me know that you're having trouble, that you have reached out to the IT desk, and that is in process. Usually Zoom is pretty user-friendly, and the IT desk is able to help you if you have any issues with that pretty quickly. So you want to make sure that you review this, and you may need to review this more than once. This tells you how to use Zoom to record a small group presentation. So you want to carefully watch the video below, which is walking you through exactly how you're going to record your small group presentation. And remember, as I said before, that Zoom allows students to meet up for 40 minutes at a time. So again, this means that you're going to need to record your presentation in 2 separate parts. And then also what you want to do is you want to make sure that you're uploading this to YouTube. So you also want to note that those basic YouTube accounts allow for you to upload videos up to 15 minutes long. And in order to upload longer videos, you're going to need to do a quick account verification step. And those directions are located here in the platform. So again, if you run into any trouble with Zoom at all, please make sure that you're reaching out to Widener's IT Help Desk so you can get assistance with that. And just, again, shoot me an email, let me know that you're having trouble and that Widener IT Desk is helping you with this. So let's just take just a couple final moments here together to go over some of the Zoom best practices checklist. Now Zoom, as I said, is pretty user-friendly, but I know it can be anxiety-producing to use any type of new technology. So the very first thing that you want to use with Zoom is to make sure that you're using a computer or a laptop and not a tablet, phone, or other device. And the reason why is because you want to make sure you're using a device that has the strongest processing speed, and even a brand new top-of-the-line phone or tablet won't really beat the processing speed and storage capacity of a desktop computer or a laptop. So some of the things you can run into if you're using a telephone to use Zoom, if you're using a cell phone or an iPad, is that your audio doesn't match your video. There might be a consistent lag, or you can have internet connectivity sort of drop. The speed can be very slow. You also want to make sure that if you're using a laptop, that it's plugged into an outlet and not relying on battery, even if your laptop is fully charged. You want to make sure while using Zoom that you're closing out all other programs on your computer or your laptop except for your internet browser. And you want to make sure that you are connected to your internet router with an Ethernet cable and not through Wi-Fi, because this will give you the strongest possible connection. You also want to make sure that you're wearing headphones with a built-in microphone or with an external microphone. So this is going to give you the best sound quality. Also, you want to make sure that you have really good lighting in the room with the lighting in front of you and not only behind you. So this is going to give us all a chance to really be able to see each other better. So I know that I'm giving lots of new information and content to you. Please remember that I want you to be successful in the class. And if you're struggling, don't feel like you have to struggle out on your own. I want you to reach out to me through email. I'm happy to get you help. Please remember that if you're having trouble with technical nature, that you're reaching out to our personal support center, and they are available 24/7 for tech support. And that number is 1-844-386-7321. You can also reach the Widener Personal Support Center via email at widener@personalsupportcenter.com. So I know this is a lengthy video. It may be one that you want to reference when it's time to do these major assignments. I'm also going to be sending out shorter videos each week, either on Sunday, Monday, or early Tuesday of each week. So you'll feel really supported and connected in terms of what you need to be doing that week. So I look forward to working with you this term, and I hope that you have a fantastic rest of the day.